So today I received the Hydrobox from Hydrosphere. It's a pure water system. It's a very compact system, as you can see. Made of a nice rigid sturdy box and aluminum construction. Got wheels and a little pull handle here which can pull out. This is just a quick look at what we've got here. We've got a pressure gauge. We've got a dual Tds meter, which will show you the Tds going in and coming out. You've got the switch to go from RO only over to RO-DI. It's a nice solid construction. It's got side handles for lifting it in and out of a vehicle. This thing can easily fit inside a trunk in a small car. On the back we have your water input, your pure water output, and then your waste line. So you'd connect a small length of hose there to run your waste line like you normally would with an RO-DI system. So now let's take a look inside what's inside the box here. Okay, so here's the inside of the Hydrobox. We have a pre-filter. It's a combined carbon and sediment filter. We have two 21-inch RO membranes and a final DI filter for the final polish. So just coming to the back of the machine here. So this is your water input. So you go from the tap to the input. This is where the pure water will be coming out of, and this is the waste line. This is all the accumulated minerals that the RO membrane takes off will come off through here. So after hooking up to the input, the water comes in through the combined carbon and sediment filter, takes out physical particles in your water, as well as chlorine to help protect the RO membranes. So the water comes down into the two ROs. This valve over here is set to a position from the factory so that it's balanced, so that a certain amount of water will go out through the waste side and the rest will continue on through the pure over to the DI for the final polish. And this valve down here is the drain valve. Should you ever have to drain the system, for instance, let's say somewhere down the road, a couple years down the road, you might want to change the RO membranes. Once they start to fail, you can just drain the system by opening up this valve. Otherwise, you can just leave this the way it is. Now getting back to this valve here, this is your run flush valve. So in this position here, it's all set up to produce pure water and have a certain amount go to the waste side. With that fully open, that will give you what they call a flush. Every once in a while you're going to want to do a flush, probably good once or twice a week. Have this valve fully open, let it flush for a good 3-4 minutes, and then bring the valve back up, not 100% closed like that, but like about 90% there. And as far as the DI is your final polish, because the ROs do most of the work. The DI will do the final polish before going to the output in the back like we showed you. Should your TDS reading, and you have a TDS meter here, we'll show you that in a minute. Should your TDS go 10 or above, this is the time when you're going to want to change out the DI. And as far as changing out the carbon sediment filter, it's good for about 5,000 gallons or 2 to 3 months. Now in the front of the system, you have a pressure gauge, so we can make sure what the pressure is like going in. Should the performance go down, you can see what the water pressure is like and see if that's the culprit. You have a dual Tds meter here. You have an in and an out. So on the in, you can see what the water is going into the system, and the out, you can see what the TDS is on the output of the system. Gives you a good idea on when to change filters, and that's just the on-off button here. Now these two dials here are the RO and DI and RO only functions. RO only, as you see it's set to right now, is just using the water that's produced by the It's going through the pre-filter and the two ROs. Sometimes that may be low enough to clean windows, especially if you're doing something like solar panels where you don't need 100% pure water. And like I said, if it's getting under 10, you're perfectly fine to clean windows with just RO water. But should you need the final polish, most of the times you're going to have this turned into the RO DI positions. Now in the back of the system here, you also have a handle. This handle pulls out. This allows you to walk around and pull the Hydrobox system around quite easily. And when you pack it up to go into the car, you can just have the handle down like that.